April showers have ceased for the time being on the west side of the Wabash, and that means it's time for some softball here at Bittinger Stadium. We'll see the second game of this weekend Big Ten series between the visiting Wisconsin Badgers and the Purdue Boilermakers right here on Big Ten Plus. We'd like to welcome you to the broadcast alongside my partner Corey Palm. I'm Quinn Lennon, and Corey, Purdue's bats really silenced yesterday, batting 160. A 3-run deficit felt insurmountable almost with Shelby Jacobson in the circle.
It did. Shelby Jacobson absolutely dealing for the Badgers yesterday. Complete game shutout, her first of those in a little over 2 seasons. You can see her stats here, 7 innings, scattered 3 hits, struck out 7, and Quinn, you alluded to it, the Boilermakers could never quite get their footing against Jacobson. They've got to be thrilled that she's not going to be in the circle here to start today's game 2.
Absolutely. And not just that, but only 2 walks, so 5 total base runners the entire game. Let's take a look here at our recap from yesterday. Purdue as well had 3 errors. Wisconsin left some meat on the bones as well, 11 left on base. Shelby Jacobson, her 3rd straight complete game win. Kendra Lewis and Emily Bojan necessitated the 3 RBIs. Take a look here at our Wisconsin starting lineup for today. Pretty similar to yesterday. Bojan first, Hillary Blomberg second, Lewis, Bark, Lucy, Showalter, Foster. Riley Crane gets a start at second base today, and Hannah Conger rounding out this dangerous Wisconsin Badgers batting lineup. Take a look here on the other side. Purdue's defense from left to right in the outfield. Polar, Banks, Condon, such a dangerous defensive unit. Franks, the defensive specialist who really shined yesterday. At third, Campbell, Moore, Painter getting the start, with Bella Douglas DHing, and Delaney Reef in the backstop. Let's take a look here at a starting pitcher in the circle, Julia Gossett.
Yeah, Gossett getting her 12th start of the season. You can see their 9-6 record. Her K per 7 is just a hair under 9, 8.74 on the season. That is among the leaders in the Big Ten. That is among the leaders, top 30 in the country, but she was not that last weekend against Michigan. Gossett looking to recapture the magic. You can see a dismal weekend for the Boilermakers across the board, including Gossett against the Wolverines. They need to recapture it here today.
Yeah, and obviously Purdue hoping for 2 straight wins here in the next 2 days, hoping to avoid their 3rd straight Big Ten Series loss, and there would have been their 3rd out of 4 overall after starting the season off well with a series sweep in here in Bittinger Stadium against Ohio State. And we are underway here as Gossett delivers that first pitch for a strike against Emily Bojan.
Bojan hitting .389 on the season for the Badgers. Great leadoff hitter. A whole fistful of extra base hits as well.
Bojan offers a little bit of power up here. You mentioned 8 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs. You see there her OPS north of 1,100. Very terrifying after her very heavily improved season as a senior. She looks at that one outside for ball 2. It's now a 2-1 count. You mentioned already Gossett's struggles pitching last weekend. Yesterday as well, played first base, struggled with the bat and in the field. As Bojan looks at that one, now be strike 2 called. Count is even now, 2-2.
Bojan 1 for 4 yesterday with a run and an RBI. Just kind of filled up the stat sheet. Good start here by Gossett.
Kicks and deals. Count is now full. And Corey, the two of us have done a lot of softball games so far this season. And one of the biggest struggles for this Purdue team has really been necessitating shorter counts. Long counts have been a problem with Gossett and Fontenot. As she delivers here, fouled off again, and we'll do it all over again.
Yeah, not efficient in the circle for sure. Gossett goes full more often than not, so much so that we actually keep track of her full counts on the day. That this is 1 of 1, or 1 out of 1 opportunities.
Gossett hoping to get another punch out here. Kicks and deals. Now be lined and fouled again. Condon ranging over, but too far out of reach for her. Valiant effort there.
To be fair, Jacobson yesterday was brilliant, but she wasn't exactly efficient either. Her pitch count got up in the 120s in 7 innings, so she controlled the Boilermakers, but she threw plenty to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Purdue, towards the end of that game, really starting to get longer counts. Really felt like there might have been a comeback coming. To no avail as Gossett deals, and they will call that a ball, and Bojan will be the first runner aboard. That'll be a walk.
Yeah, Delaney Reeve tried to help her pitcher out there. That ball was tailing low and away. As we take another look at it here, just a little bit outside.
Just missed the outside corner. Similar issue to what Fontenot and Perez struggled with yesterday. This is dangerous Hilly Blomberg up to bat. And that will miss outside and low as well. Blomberg was quiet yesterday, went over 2 with 2 walks. However, both those walks were semi-intentional, as all the pitches were pretty outside. Let's look at a mound visit here.
Yeah, better to be safe when you're facing a dangerous hitter like Blomberg for sure. And this is, it's early, and the way yesterday went, probably just a matter of getting everyone on the same page. You've got a base runner, no outs. Let's make sure pitcher and catcher know what they're doing here. Let's make sure the infield is aware and perfectly in tune with their responsibilities here. You don't expect a batter like Blomberg to lay something down here to move runners across, but it is early, and opportunities can be very sparse in a Big Ten game. So be ready for anything and make sure you're on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw yesterday, Wisconsin tends to have a lot of platoon runners and bats. They like to pinch run early and often, try and take advantage of any base runner to get anything going. And that is in for ball 2. I mentioned already Blomberg was quiet by her standards, did not get a hit. However, the second pitch she saw, she took for a ride, but just barely foul. Essentially looking here on the hitter's count. Another outside pitch here. It's a 3-0 count. Looks like Gossett has a very similar approach to how Fontenot and Brooke Perez approached Blomberg yesterday. Pitch outside. See if she chases. That ball will be outside again. It'll be the second walk in a row issued by Gossett.
Yeah, that one very different from the first one. Like you said, Gossett was going after Bojan, definitely not going after Blomberg there. And now we'll see how the Boilermakers handle Kendra Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis, you saw in the box score earlier, 2 of the 3 RBIs from yesterday. All the RBIs came in a second inning. That was really where Wisconsin got their lead and held onto it. Take a look here. Sydney Spear will be pinch running for Blomberg. And I would assume right after this inning, we'll be quick to substitute Blomberg back in. Spear yesterday came in as a pinch runner and had a run. One of the 3 pinch runners that came in, 2 of which had a run. Gossett deals. There'll be a bunt. Line to Gossett. And savvy play by Gossett, the veteran, immediately turning back to second. And it is a double play. Very unconventional 3-5 double, or excuse me, 1-5 double play.
It was really brilliant, too, to spin and go for the lead runner, too. The easy thing there would have been to go to first, double off that runner at first, and get your second out. But Gossett wheels 180 degrees and gets the lead runner at second, and a huge play for the Boilermaker defense.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with cleanup batter Olivia Bark up to bat. And turning 2 as opposed to 1 also not only has a runner 60 feet less, but not just that, it allows a force out for a very savvy middle infield, potentially on a backhand by Moore, can just toss to second as opposed to turning. And then we'll go 2, and Reef nearly gets her. Savvy base running from Spear. That point is now moot as they have a runner on second.
See, that wasn't a huge jump by Spear there. She gets her 4th stolen base of the season. A one hop from Reef. A throw on the fly there might get Spear, but she slides in under the tag.
1-1 count here. And looks, and that'll be ball 2. I think the Purdue defense was not expecting. Wisconsin likes to pinch run, but doesn't tend to steal a lot of bags. I think Ashlyn Campbell and Delaney Reef were caught a little off guard there. It looked like potentially even with the one hop, if Campbell was in front of the bag, might have gotten her, but neither of them were expecting it to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. Spear, with her 4th steal, is now tied for the team lead.
As a pop-up to Condon, and Condon will make the grab there, and Purdue will get through the first inning after a little bit of a scare with 2 rocks in a row. But a savvy play by Julia Gossett, and that will be a great start for Purdue after a tough start yesterday. They'll go to the bottom of the first here on Big Ten Plus.
When congestion has you feeling off, turn on new Afrin Saline, made with seawater, and feel the rush of extra strength daily relief.
Wow.
Afrin Saline. Now, the wow is real every day.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Purdue able to get out of an inning after only 4 batters faced. Take a look here at their starting order. Chloe Banks, Polar, Moore, Painter, Reef, Franks, Douglas, Condon, and Campbell. Pretty standard lineup for them. Douglas, after getting the day off yesterday, is DHing. Take a look here at Wisconsin's defense from left to right. Foster, Lucy, Lewis. And then in the infield, Bark, Conger, Crane with her start today. And Showalter at first, and Haley Blomberg in catcher.
Jordan Felsey in the circle.
And that is popped in the air. A second pop-up bunt so far in just 1 inning. Take a look here at the starting pitcher of the game, Jordan Felchey.
Felchey, just her 2nd start of the season, a 7.47 ERA for the Badgers. Good to get her a start here. We'll see how she does. 1 pitch, 1 out. Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw yesterday Purdue had Brianna Fontenot on a pretty short leash, potentially having that as a bullpen game of sorts. Might be the same thing here for Wisconsin. Obviously, yesterday Jacobson went to distance. Potentially only a couple innings here for Felchey. As you see, Polar ground that towards the middle, and that will extend her hitting streak to 15 games. And that is exactly what you want to see for the Boilermakers.
Just hits it on the screws right back up the middle. That's perfect at bat from Mariah Polar. And this was something the Boilermakers did not get yesterday. Early base runners in that game. Polar, that 15-game hitting streak, and now we'll see what she does on the base pass. 20 steals already on the season.
Absolutely. Definitely something to be considered in the back of the mind of Felchey. As Anna Moore swings on that one, and that will be a strike 1. Obviously, this dangerous start to this Purdue lineup. Banks, a very solid leadoff hitter. Polar, one of the best hitters in the country. And Anna Moore, potentially one of the best freshmen in the country as well, batting .383. As she takes that one for ball 1.
Yeah, nice low and away pitch there. Kind of a safety pitch almost with Polar over at first.
See there the stats. Yesterday, went over 2 with a walk, but 1,200 OPS on the season still. 34 RBIs as well. Helps when the 2 batters in front of you get on base as often as Banks and Polar do. There's now a 2-1 count for Moore.
And that's one thing. Moore and Painter and Reef, Kylie Franks, this Purdue lineup this year has bled you dry by getting runners on and just pounding hits in timely spots.
That ball is fouled away, and it will be a 2-2 count. You mentioned Purdue likes to play more small ball. We've seen a couple teams that Purdue has faced, notably Ohio State, very power-oriented teams, but Purdue, death by 1,000 cuts in a way. The leader in home runs right now is Anna Moore with 7. On the other side, obviously Blomberg with 11. And 7 is not tend to be a pretty high margin for overall home runs. Especially Purdue's already played 5 more games than Wisconsin. Felci deals. And it's fouled off again by Moore. Fighting back. It'll be a 2-2 count all over again.
The flip side of that coin, Quinn, is, in order to play small ball, you have to play with speed. The Boilermakers have 6 players who would be the team leader in stolen bases if they were on the Wisconsin squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Tire speed top to bottom. There's no easy out. Any ground ball in the infield may potentially be an infield hit. As Moore fouls it off again, continues the battle. It's a very admirable at-bat by both parties, Felci and Moore.
Yeah, good job fighting off tough pitches, trying to find one that she can drive.
Felci doesn't tend to go long in innings. Her last appearance was in Maryland. Got the win, but only 1 inning pitched. That ball will be low. It'll be a full count now. Felci did have 2 strikeouts in just 1 inning of work. So, prone to being a strikeout pitcher. Felci deals. And fouled off again. And the lefty-lefty matchup continues. The 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up right here.
Tell you what, we seem to have overpromised a little bit. Mariah Poehler has not taken off yet in a steal attempt, even with a full count.
Payoff pitch again. And that ball is lined to left, and that one will be in. And Moore and Poehler are both getting on their horses. Now will be an RBI stand-up triple for Anna Moore. And you mentioned earlier Purdue did not get a lot of run support yesterday. Not a lot of hits strung together. How about 2 in the first 3 batters?
Yeah, 2 straight away, back-to-back hits, and big-time timely. That one just inside the bag, and a triple for Anna Moore, her 3rd of the season. Fantastic piece of hitting as we see her hustling. Never even thought about slowing down. She was thinking triple the whole way. Poehler was no doubt scoring from first on that ball to the outfield corner.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the other perk of having such good speed. So you're able to turn those doubles into triples and getting from first all the way to home on a stand-up double as well. As Painter is going to hit that high to right field. Is going to be caught, but Moore is going to tag up. Play at the plate, not in time, and Moore is going to score on a sacrifice fly by Haley Painter.
Great deep fly ball there by Painter for her 37th RBI of the season. She gets enough of that one fairly deep into right field, and good patience over there on third base to wait for the catch and in well ahead of the throw.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing you want to see is going a little too early, and that turns from a pop fly where you're still on third into a double play end of inning. Take a look here at Delaney Reef, who yesterday hit here in the 5 spot, but tends to be more on the lower side. Starting to improve so far this season. Only batting .208, but really had a great series against Michigan despite the loss. That is in for ball 1.
Well, and she's really one of the better defensive catchers in the Big Ten Conference. It doesn't bother you as much as a coach if you're slightly lower on the batting average. You get pretty good power numbers for Reef, and you know exactly what you're getting from her behind the plate.
As Reef fouls that one back into the protective netting. You mentioned has some extra base opportunities for home runs. 3 doubles this season. Last season led the team with 13. And so she tends to be a quiet contributor on the lower half of this lineup, as is potentially the rest of this entire lineup. Everyone on the bottom always seems to do their part defensively and offensively. As Felci deals, will be outside for ball 2. It is now a 2-2 count with 2 runs plated already, 2 outs, 2 hits so far in this inning.
Deuce is wild.
Felci deals in there for strike 3. And Felci will get out of the inning, but not before Purdue plates 2 runs on 2 hits and no errors. And Purdue with the early run support. And we go to the top of the 2nd here on Big Ten Plus.
When congestion has you feeling off, turn on new Afrin Saline, made with seawater, and feel the rush of extra strength daily relief.
Wow.
Afrin Saline. Now, the wow is real every day.
Purdue plates 2 with the top of their lineup. Let's take a look here at Wisconsin's head coach, Yvette Healy. Got her 580th win yesterday. Looking for her 450th as a Wisconsin head coach. It's her 16th season here at Wisconsin. Been very productive, has this team been.
Yeah, Healy has just had a fantastic career for the Badgers. Won the 2013 Big Ten Tournament Championship. Prior to that, a Horizon League champion from her time at Loyola in Chicago.
Gossett pitches that one up. You saw there on the graphic. Only 3 seasons for these Wisconsin Badgers in the past 16 that they've been under 500 to end the season, been consistently very solid player in the Big Ten standings. Gossett deals. It will now be a 1-1 count here for the center fielder Lucy. Gossett hoping to continue the momentum after a momentum-sapping double play on a bunt. Another bunt attempt here in the air. The defensive specialist Franks got it in time. Great play there. And that will be 1 out gone. Defensive specialist Franks, you see here, making a great play there. Just in time. Very close play there. Gossett hoping to keep it up. As Showalter is up to bat. I'll be in for strike 1. Jackie Showalter, most productive player yesterday. Didn't get an RBI, but had the only extra base hit of the game. Went 2 for 4 with a double. Very solid contributor in the back half of this Wisconsin lineup. Gossett deals. I'll be in there for ball 1. See the season stats there. Batting .247. Improved that yesterday. With an OPS north of 800. Gossett deals. That will be foul tipped, seemingly off the end of the bat.
Yeah, just hit the butt of the bat there and only missed her hands by an inch or 2 on a chilly April day. Consider herself lucky there.
Absolutely. A little bit of a wind as well. Been very overcast recently. The rain showers fortunately stopped about 2 hours ago, give or take. Been perfect timing as we got softball and baseball here in the Boilermaker Sporting Complex.
Well, and I got to tell you, you cannot give enough credit to the field crew here at Bittinger Stadium. This field looks fantastic considering just how much of it was underwater
Absolutely.
2 hours ago. It several inches of rain in the last 18 hours here in West Lafayette, and we weren't sure we were going to get anything in here today, but yeoman's effort by the field crew.
Absolutely. Baseball and softball as the payoff pitch here for the 3-2 count. In and hits the umpire. Looks like it was foul tipped. Hits the home plate umpire, Antonio Flores. Joining him, our first base umpire, Brandon Bloom, and Emily Hammerschmidt at third base.
And Delaney Reef does him a solid by walking that ball back out to her pitcher instead of just throwing it back. A little understanding between catchers and umpires. They return the favor in those situations. Man, Flores, he's Superman back there. That ball looked like it got him good.
Interesting roll there for Gossett. Another play. That was Foster who was up. Mackenzie Foster, the left fielder.
That ball was going foul and had so much English on it, it takes a left-hand turn. Luckily, Gossett was playing that pitch in case it was going to go fair, just as it did. If Julia Gossett plays a little bit loose there, that's probably an infield single.
Yeah, and it's a tough thing to read there. Obviously, we mentioned the rain has played a factor. This infield has been tarped up for last couple hours, and so a little bit of an awkward bounce, give or take.
And you can see wet spots and drier spots on the infield. Unavoidable, of course, with that much moisture on the ground and with the tarp.
See here, fouled back into the protective netting.
Foster hitting just a hair over 300, one of 7 Badgers batting over 300 on the season. This lineup is so difficult from top to bottom.
Absolutely. Very solid showing from this entire lineup. You look at the main starters, obviously Crane getting the start after Foster here, batting 8th. Gossett deals. That will be off the end of the bat again. Another foul ball. Mention how dangerous this lineup is. 7 out of the 9 batters today hit over 300. The only ones being Jackie Showalter and Riley Crane, who has only had 6 at-bats so far this season. That will be outside for ball 2.
Didn't miss by much, and Gossett will take a couple extra steps there. A little frustrated to not get that corner on what would have been an inning punch out. Mackenzie Foster, junior, transferred to Wisconsin from Syracuse, but she's a Columbus, Indiana native.
As she hits that one towards the left side and foul. A little bit of action in the bullpen right now for Purdue. Just a little bit of an insurance. Brooke Perez came in relief admirably yesterday. No earned runs with 5 innings pitched to come in relief. Really stopped the bleeding after a 3-run second inning. And Gossett will get another punch out. That will be punch out number 115 of the season. As another painless inning for the Purdue Boilermakers comes and goes. And Purdue going to go to the bottom half of the inning number 2, up 2-0, hoping to extend their lead right here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the broadcast. Bottom half of the second inning here for the Boilermakers. Take a look here at Purdue's head coach Maggie Frizzotti in her third season. Has had a very core contributing factor in building the culture of this Purdue team. Started with defense, and that will hit Kylie Franks. Speaking of defense, defensive specialist who had a very nice bang-bang play earlier. A short ground ball right there just clips the elbow pad.
Barely.
And they will count it.
Now, it is not the batter's obligation to get out of the way, and Frank's just happy to stand in there with that armor on that elbow and take her free bag.
Absolutely. As Bella Douglas, who got the day off for the most part yesterday, pinch hit in the end in the seventh inning, but for the most part didn't have much obligations yesterday. Another star freshman for this Boilermaker lineup, batting .270. Had a great hot streak earlier in non-conference play. Has begun to taper off towards conference play, but hoping to stem the tides here. As Felchi deals, and that will be ball one. It's a 1-1 count here for Douglas.
This is an important spot for Felchi. 2 early runs aren't that big a deal. You know your offense is capable. What you can't do is let this thing get out of control. Here in the bottom third of the Boilermaker lineup, they get one more base runner, and they're looking at flipping the lineup back to the top. Then you got trouble.
Absolutely, and there's no easy outs here in this bottom half of the Purdue lineup. You see Franks already gets on by any means necessary. This entire Boilermaker bottom half does whatever is necessary for the team, gets on base via walks, hit by pitch, sack hit, sat flies. And another foul ball there as Douglas continues to battle here. Douglas, normally the everyday first baseman, only hitting today. Haley Painter batting first, hitting at first today. Felchi deals. Another foul ball there from Douglas, just missing these last couple. And we'll do it all over again, 1-2 count.
Some action in the Wisconsin bullpen as well.
Obviously, second game of a series of 3, so not too surprising to see some bullpen action, hoping to keep most of your arms ready for the series finale as well.
Sydney Vatonko getting loose.
As Douglas, another foul ball.
First time through the lineup, it's always good to make the pitcher throw as many pitches as you can, foul things off, take balls outside the zone. Felchi already up to 25 on her pitch count through an inning and an inning plus.
Felchi deals. Now will be in. Strike 3 called. And that battling will be for naught. As Felchi will get the backwards K there. And 1 out gone here. See there, nice off-speed pitch. Good frame job there from Blomberg, but clips the lower part of the plate. That'll be out number 1.
Yeah, that was a great pitch. I think Douglas kind of fooled herself by how close she stands to the plate. She thought that ball was inside because it was close to her. It really wasn't. That was a great throw.
Maura Condon here, the right fielder. Has had a bit of a slump, but did have 1 of the 3 hits yesterday. Went 1 for 2. Hoping to keep that momentum up towards in the bottom half of this lineup. And she drills one to center field, and that will be a single, second single for Condon in the series. And it is now 2 on with 1 out for, frankly, a secondary leadoff hitter in Ashlyn Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell will come up for the first time today, hitting over 350 on the season. Another one straight back up the middle. Nice pitch by Condon, drives it into shallow center field. Third base hit for the Boilermakers.
See the infield shift in a little bit due to the speed of Campbell. And Campbell going to lay off there on a bunt. Will be ball 1.
Yeah, good recognition there outside, not committing the bunt. able to pull it back and save herself the pitch.
Especially because we've already seen 2 bunt flyouts. Just trying to avoid that. Campbell looks there to potentially had a little bit of a slap hit opposite field, but lays off and it'll be strike 1 and a 1-1 count.
That's a good point, Quinn, about popping the bump up. You have to be safe here. Make sure you get it on the ground because a double play ends this threat.
Absolutely, and just going to lay off on that one as well. 2-1 count. See Crane towards second base, running towards. Frank's taking a massive lead since both middle infielders are crashing towards the corner bases. Felci deals, and Campbell going to lose her bat. Second time that's happened this series. Almost hit Hillary Blomberg's sister yesterday. Able to get out of the way. It's Addison Blomberg. See there, just gets a piece of it, but loses her handle of the bat in the process.
So dangerous when you show bunt, and then slap because those corners of the infield are charging.
We had a couple weird chopper ground balls yesterday, and that ball will be in no man's land. Everybody's safe. And now the bases are juiced for the top of the lineup. Exactly what you want to see from this bottom half of this Purdue lineup. 4 through 4 at-bats. You had 2 singles, a hit by pitch. That's exactly what you want to see. Just misses there. Very close play there. With Campbell's speed, I doubt she would have gotten her at first as well.
Yeah, you have to go to the closer bag there. It's your only shot. That was a perfect chopper by Campbell. Worst case scenario for Felci.
Especially since the middle infielders were crashing. Conger was not in position there to potentially make a play on it as opposed to Bark. Bark had to take a little bit of a longer journey to get there. Now ball will be in for ball 1 for Chloe Banks. Second time up already in as many innings. Popped up to the third baseman earlier. It was one of those bunt pop flies that we mentioned already. Looking to see if she can get ball in the infield gap, potentially score 2. The speed of this Purdue lineup would break the door wide open for Polar and Moore. Bank looks. Another ball there, 3-0 count with the bases juiced. Felci has to battle back here. Certainly does not want to allow a walk. Easy run there, especially with the 2 and 3 batters up right after. Felci deals, and Banks will take strike 1. Still has a hitter's count 3-1 though.
Yeah, Banks taking the whole way there. You got to force the pitcher to hit the strike zone.
Felci deals, slap down the middle, and bobbled. Took an interesting bounce out of the glove, but that will be a run scored. And the bases are still loaded as Purdue is now up 3-0. And there's still 1 out with the dangerous Mariah Polar up to bat.
Interesting, as we take another look at that play, they're going to rule it a hit. That was going to be a really tough play. Just the placement of the ball and where it had hopped, how it had landed. Quinn, they're going to give an infield single. Nobody advanced beyond because of the bobble. So an infield single for Chloe Banks, and here's Polar.
Yeah, definitely a tough play there as we see ball 1 to Polar. With the speed of the Boilermaker lineup, if it wasn't for how fast Ashlyn Campbell is or Chloe Banks is, probably would be labeled as an error, but the fact that Campbell was nearly at the bag by the time the ball was going to be fielded, as Polar slaps that foul, also loses her bat.
We mentioned that it's cold. Maybe it's hard to get a grip.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that's also why Banks didn't try to lean in, or Franks didn't try to lean into the pitch earlier, just allow it to just graze the elbow guard and take the base from there.
Well, that is kind of where this whole thing started was Kylie Franks not being afraid to take one off the elbow pad.
Absolutely. As Felci deals the 1-1. Banks lays off, or Polar lays off for a 2-1 count. Already has a single so far today.
Yeah, right back up the middle. She does that again. At least 2 more runs will come across.
Especially with the speed of Campbell at second. Anything in the gap most likely might score Banks with such crazy speed at first. Another ball there, and it's now a 3-1 count. Hitters count. Second at bat or second plate appearance in a row. Banks also was able to get a 3-1 count with Felci.
Barrett Herr now getting loose for the Badgers as well.
3-1 count here. Felci deals, and Polar going to line that into the gap, and Foster's not able to get there, and it is going to be a bases clearing double for Polar. Another multi-hit game for her. That is her 22nd of the season, and it couldn't come at a better time as the Boilermakers are going to plate 3 more. It is now 6-0.
A great placement there by Banks. A good effort by Mackenzie Foster out there in left field. Just didn't have it. Could not quite get to that ball, and that will close the book on Felci, at least for now. She gets the hook for the Badgers. 6 runs on 6 hits and a runner on second to boot here in the bottom of the second inning. Just 1 away. Felci comes in, records just 4 outs in limited action. The Boilermakers jumping all over her and really taking advantage of timely hitting and aggressive base running. And now we'll get a full team huddle in the infield as they get ready for Sydney Vitonkel coming in to warm up in the circle.
Absolutely. It's going to be very tough for Wisconsin to come back. Take a look here. Mariah Polar is second. That was her 71st hit of the season. And she is currently second, right behind Madison Clark of Nevada. But in the string she's able to pull off, you can say she was quote-unquote slumping the past 2 games. Went 2 for 6 in the last game versus Michigan and yesterday's game against Wisconsin. And today, 2 for 2 with a single. See there. Her batting average coming into the day was .588. Is now second. Is still second and bound to improve again. Hoping to maybe eclipse that 600 mark that she had earlier this season during the Ohio State series.
You mentioned that she's slumping of late, hitting 2 of 6. Anyone would love to slump and still hit 300, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
Also 39 RBI now on the season. Good for the team lead.
Take a look here at Sydney Vitonkel. And see there, 4 games, no record so far. 3.1 ERA in only 6 2/3 innings. Other than Jacobson that we saw yesterday, a lot of this Wisconsin Badgers pitching staff is by committee, shorter innings for each of them. As Vitonkel deals, I'll be in for strike 1 against the dangerous freshman Anna Moore, hoping that this rally is not done quite yet. Moore already with an RBI triple that brought in Polar to start the running barrage. See, they're in for strike 2. Polar causing a little bit of disruption on the base path, taking a big secondary, maybe thinking Blomberg, causing Blomberg to think twice about where to go. And Moore going to drive that into the gap. Easier play there from Foster as out number 2. As Polar will remain at second.
Good contact there by Moore. Just unfortunately for her, hit it exactly where the defense was. Great placement by Foster in left field.
As Haley Painter comes up to bat, had a sac fly earlier with an RBI. Brought in Moore, hoping to bring in another run here. Anything in the outfield most likely will score Polar with her speed. That is the hope here for Haley Painter. She fouls that off there. The Fresno State turned Nevada transfer has been a real core contributor in recent weeks. Didn't start the season off, but has gotten the nod in many recent games, batting .323, and has found her spot as the cleanup hitter for this team. Tonko deals and hit down the line and right into the Wisconsin bullpen. See number 55 Barrett Herr able to make the snag there and throw it back in. It's now a 1-2 count. Tonko deals, and Painter gonna get under that and right to Showalter. That will end the inning, but that will cause 4 more runs to be plated, 4 more hits, 4 more runs. Purdue is up 6-0 going to the top of the third here on Big Ten Plus. To nothing. Take a look here at the starting pitcher, Jordan Felchey's final line. Only 1 1/3 inning pitched, 6 earned runs allowed on 6 hits and only 2 strikeouts. Tough day in the office for Felchey, hoping that Wisconsin's offense and her bullpen kind of leaves it to be only a shove for her.
Amazing, of those 6 hits, 4 of them were right back up the middle. The Purdue bats have been dialed in from the word jump today.
Absolutely, especially considering yesterday, really tough showing from the bats. And strike 2 there for Riley Crane, getting only her 2nd start of the season in place of Kaylee Whitten, the everyday second baseman. As Crane looks at that up.
Much respect to Riley Crane rocking the 99 jersey number.
Absolutely. Very cool to see. Subbed in yesterday at right field at some point in time in the game. Hoping to contribute with the bat. She looks at that one. Now ball 2 is a 2-2 count. Crane able to even it up. Crane hoping to get something going. Obviously down by 6. Not insurmountable. The ball is fouled off. But we saw yesterday Purdue was down early in the 2nd inning. Was never able to really climb out of that hole due to solid pitching. And Gossett hoping that to be the reverse today. With Purdue on the other side, I'll be up for ball 3. It is now a 3-2 count for Gossett and Crane.
Just like we said last inning with the Wisconsin pitching staff, you don't want to have trouble here with Riley Crane, who comes in with just 1 base hit on the season. You need to take care of the ones you should be able to take care of if you're Julia Gossett, because Conger, Bojan, Blomberg, Lewis, it gets a lot harder from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely. You hope to at least have one out going into the top of the lineup this inning. As Gossett deals, I'll be back here towards the commentary box. Rolls back to Reef. We will do it all over again. The payoff pitch we run through for a second time. This is the 9th pitch of the at-bat. I mentioned already Gossett and Felci on the other side as well. Both struggled to have shorter counts. Gossett deals, and I believe that hit Crane, but all the same, as Crane will be able to get on base for Conger.
Good at-bat that by Riley Crane. Battled up for a couple pitches, then takes this one inside. It just trails. Yep, catches that back elbow. Ball 4 either way, but Gossett made it a little bit more painful of a ball 4.
Absolutely. As Wisconsin hoping to spark a rally here in the bottom part of the lineup, and then eventually up to the top with Bojan, Blomberg, and Lewis as the top 3. Hannah Conger batting .338 so far this season. Not much of a power hitter, however. 27 hits, 23 runs. That ball is skied into the air in no man's land. Campbell calls everyone off. Now will be out, number 1.
Campbell came in late on that one. It was her ball to call, no doubt, but I thought Gossett was going to make a play on that. That one had potential to get pretty ugly pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about it yesterday. Had a couple of plays like that were pretty close. There was one in the gap where Polar and Banks were making a play on it. Polar ended up calling off Banks, but collisions definitely scary for Purdue, especially from last year, how Mariah Polar got injured towards the end of the season as well, which makes her season all the more incredible, not only playing at such a high level to gain national recognition the way she is, but just playing at all after such a scary season-ending injury towards the end of last season. A lot of those season-ending injuries towards the end, you might not be ready for opening day.
Yeah, for sure. Great work in the offseason by the medical staff to get her ready. That was a scary day.
As you look here, and Painter, the outfielder by trade, going to make an easy play there at first. Out number 2, and it'll be a foul out for, I believe, Bojan. As Blomberg is now up.
Always makes things a lot easier when you take one of the best bats out of the equation with a foul out and a fly out in foul territory.
Absolutely, especially considering Bojan has been having a great start to her season. Obviously, already started pretty well as a junior last year, but this year has really turned it up a notch. So getting her out, especially with Hillary Blomberg up, is very crucial here. Gossett deals. I'll be outside for ball 1. Probably going to see a couple more pitches like that. She's on a Blomberg, including today, 16-game on-base streak. That ball will be inside for ball 2. Blomberg really not being given anything to hit by this Purdue pitching staff these past couple days. Had an early scare yesterday, but since then, no dice. That one would be in for a strike. Now a 2-1 count.
That one looked outside from my vantage point, but I'm all the way up here in the announce booth.
Perhaps clipped the outside corner there. Gossett deals. Pulls the rope out from under. And the off-speed pitch gets Blomberg. And it's now a 2-2 count.
It's got to be so much. Gossett's got to be so much happier being able to go after Blomberg. She walked her basically intentionally her first time up.
And Blomberg going to hit that towards center. Banks ranging back. Gone! Home run number 12 of the season for Hillary Blomberg. And she is now tied for second in career home runs as a Wisconsin Badger with 31.
Absolutely drilled that thing. Dead center. Chloe Banks had no shot. I was in the middle of saying Gossett happy to be able to challenge Blomberg, and Blomberg up to the challenge right there. Fastball up, drives it, dead center field. That ball goes at least 225, maybe further. Blomberg, number 12 on the year, one of the all-time greats.
Absolutely. Wisconsin happy to have her, has been a massive force, and only a junior, and so a little bit farther away from the all-time home run total, which is in the 40s, but she has another season and a half to catch up, and so you might be looking, as you see there, only 12 home runs away from the all-time record. Kayla Conwit potentially probably won't make a play at it this season, but next season, absolutely, if she decides to stay here at Wisconsin.
Conwit, former Big Ten Player of the Year back in 2019.
Blomberg hoping to make a play at that as well. Obviously, there's so many good home run hitters and overall hitters. Mariah Polo, we've already touched on here. Megan Grant of UCLA and the entire UCLA lineup. It's going to be a very hotly contested race this season, individually and collectively. These two teams were 8th and 9th yesterday. Purdue, with the loss, moved down from 8th to 11th. Wisconsin moved up from 9th to 6th. It is such a hodgepodge in the middle of the Big Ten standings, as both these teams hoping to make a statement here in this series, try to win this series, try to gain some momentum, and try to really break through to the upper echelon, the top 5 of the Big Ten standings.
Yeah, 6 teams within a game of each other, like you said. Wisconsin is 6-4, Purdue at 5-5, and 4 other teams right in the mix there as well. It matters so much for the Big Ten tournament and seeding and NCAA tournament, and we'll have a chance to talk about that as the afternoon unwinds.
As Gossett looks there, and we'll get out of the inning, but not before a huge home run from Hillary Blomberg, dead center, as we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd here on Big Ten Plus.
I'm glad you.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Wisconsin plates 2, Purdue already with 6. And that's the name of the game. Purdue, not known to be a football school, however, getting a touchdown here for Purdue softball is the name of the game. When scoring 6+ runs, they have been 20-0, as opposed to when scoring 1 through 5, counting yesterday, 5-11. And so, looks admirable to start, have not lost a game while scoring 6+ runs. Hoping that that trend continues to be win number 21 today.
Boy, with this Wisconsin offense, they might want to go ahead and kick that extra point here, get a little bit of insurance. Delaney Reef leads things off in the bottom of the 3rd.
Absolutely, Reef, the only Purdue batter that didn't come up to bat last inning. She'll hit a screamer to the shortstop Conger, but easy play there. She throws to Showalter, and that'll be out number 1 here in inning number 3.
I'm going to take issue with you a little bit, Quinn. You say Purdue's not known as a football school. I beg to differ.
Look,
this is the cradle of quarterbacks. This is the den of defensive ends.
That's true.
You're talking to one of the preeminent Purdue football historians, at least in this booth right now. So,
Yeah, unfortunately,
not quite the same tradition of say, the Badgers
That's true.
for the last several decades. But
Who we haven't beat since 2003.
hey,
You mentioned that
that's
earlier.
True.
You told me
We
that
talked
earlier.
about that off the air.
Kylie Franks here, second plate appearance in as many innings. Hit by pitch last inning, which really started the rally. Unfortunately, Corey, I'm a transplant, so I didn't grow up a Purdue fan.
Right.
So I've been here for 4 years, and other than my freshman year with Aiden O'Connell, it's been.
What a year that was. Run all the way to the Big Ten title game.
It was pretty good. In there for a strike one. It's now a 2-1 count here.
Franks hit by a pitch last inning. Got the Boilermaker rally going.
Hoping to replicate that here. Mentioned trying to get some more run support here. 2-2 count here. Obviously, new pitcher Vitonko has come in relief. 3 straight outs. Been a very solid start. Tonkel deals a 2-2. Fouled off away by Franks. We'll do it all over again. Another one of these long at-bats that we've been talking about from both sides. We talked about it with Gossett at the beginning of our broadcast, and then eventually talked about it with Felci, who's falling into a lot of 3-2, 3-1, 2-2 counts. Svitonkel also here with a 2-2 count. And that ball is lined, and that will be a single right outside the glove of Showalter. As Franks is going to continue this little mini hot streak. 2 for 3 on the series with a hit by pitch.
Good effort there by Showalter, but Franks perfectly placed ball there into right field for a 1-out single for the Boilermakers.
As Bella Douglas, the lone out in this bottom half of the Purdue lineup last inning, hoping to change her fortunes a little bit here. Had a backwards K against Felci, but first time seeing Vitonkel. Douglas, her first hit of the season was a home run, and her first hit and plate appearance in Bittinger Stadium was an opposite field home run as well. And she will line that towards Foster, and Foster makes a great play there. Sliding there to make sure she gets the grab. And it'll be out number 2. Good contact there from Douglas, but even better defense from Foster, who's been really the defensive showstopper right now for Wisconsin.
Yeah, Foster covered a lot of ground there. You can see the outfield was playing pretty deep, respecting Douglas's power, and Foster had to come in on the hop to make that grab.
Mentioned already earlier, a little bit of a wind chill as well, and Condon going to line that back to Foster. That'll be another single. That ball was on a rope towards the outfield.
Good contact. Don't wait for a pitch. If you see one you like, go out there and drive it. That's what Moore Condon did. Base hit for the Boilermakers. That is hit number 8 here already in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And we'll get another visit inside the circle. Looks like we're going to be making another change.
And that will be the end of Vitonkel's day. I'll take another call to the bullpen for Wisconsin. We'll be back here on Big Ten Plus. Third?
Yeah, I think 1+. I don't think she got
Welcome back to the broadcast. New pitcher here for Wisconsin. But before we get to that, let's take a look here. Never mind. We will look at Barrett Herr stats. And her last appearance was the same last appearance as Jordan Felci as well. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, and a 3-0 win against Maryland back on the 28th of March. Tends to go longer in games as opposed to Felci and Fatonko, who both of them tend to go shorter in spurts. Potentially trying to finish out this game here with her. Ashlyn Campbell already with a single in the second.
Important spot for her to get out of this jam. 2 on, 2 out. Fatonko responsible for those 2 base runners, but as a team, this Badger squad has started their rally. They've started their comeback. They got 2 big runs in the top of the third. You cannot give anything back to the Boilermakers here.
Absolutely, especially would be a free pass for bases loaded, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. As the top of the lineup is going to come back up, and Chloe Banks looking to get hit number 2.
Second inning in a row, the Boilermakers have gone back to the top of the lineup with the bases loaded. Now there's 2 outs here. That's a big point. But Chloe Banks with a shot to really be a difference maker here.
As I'll be in for ball 1. Just misses the outside corner against the senior Orange Park, Florida native, Chloe Banks. One of the veterans of this team. Was a holdover prior to Maggie Frizzotti coming in. As Banks will look on as a 2-0 count.
Smart by Banks there. She's seen 2 balls. She saw the batter right before Ashlyn Campbell watch 4 straight balls.
Obviously waiting to see her get a strike in before really taking a swing. Usually tends to be the rule of thumb. As take a look here at Barrett Herr's stats. This is going to be her 20th appearance. Has an 8-5 record, 4.7 ERA, 67 innings pitched, and averages about 5.5 Ks per 7. Doesn't tend to walk very often, however, 6 straight balls in such a critical situation. That is in for strike 1. That is her first strike of the outing. Hoping to string something together to avoid a 2-out rally here for the Boilermakers. Started this inning off with only 1 base runner and 2 outs. Since then, single walk. So the hope is to avoid getting to Polar here with the bases loaded, especially with a run being scored. As Banks is going to hit a slap shot. Tough play in no man's land. And that will be in for an infield single and another RBI for Banks.
Yeah, another high chopper off the bat of Banks. She's probably beating this throw out. You can see Bark was thinking second. They're not going to get Campbell at second either. That's an infield single all day long. And one comes across. The Boilermakers now lead 7-2. Polar back at the plate with the bases loaded. Last time she cleared him with a double.
Yeah, very tough to see there as Banks going to hit it again in no man's land. And Polar's going to advance to second. And that is another 2 runs plated.
We're going to get...
looks like a challenge for obstruction potentially.
Yeah, we're going to get probably a challenge for obstruction. As you can see, Banks in the pathway to going to second. And, I don't know, man. That's Riley Crane certainly... looked like she went looking for contact as far as I can tell, and there was a little bit of contact with Banks. But if either one of those players altered their route on that play, it was Crane. I would be very surprised if this challenge is upheld, overturned in favor of the Badgers, quite frankly. But we'll see what they say.
Yeah, very tough play there. You can even argue the last play, there might have been a little bit of something there as well.
So they will go to the monitor to review the obstruction. As it stands, 2 runs came across for the Boilermakers. Banks advanced to third on the play. Polar gets all the way around to second, because the other thing you can see here, Crane, to say she sought contact there is incorrect. But her pathway to the ball was obstructed by Banks. Now, is Banks allowed to run to second? That becomes the question. The bigger problem for Wisconsin there, no one played the ball once it got past Crane. It just kept going, which allowed runners to advance another base. You see Polo there on second.
Yeah,
and third.
The second that ball was got to the outfield and Crane was not able to make a play, it seemed like no one was willing to make a play there. Obviously, eventually the right fielder Lewis was able to crash in, but wasn't initially crashing in. And so, obviously, would have been a tough play here to get Polar out.
You can see Banks actually takes a couple steps inside to try and get away from Crane.
Tough play there.
So they are reviewing.
These are always tough plays to be called because it's more of a judgment call on the umpires, whether or not they think that that was obstruction. There's no clear rule for it. We see it sometimes in baseball that we're not entirely sure if it counts as obstruction or if it doesn't. So we'll see here what the call is going to be made.
And the call on the field was no obstruction. So
yeah, definitely hard to disagree. And notable NCAA ranks for the Boilermakers coming into the game, batting .329, 41st, 43rd in RBIs, 40th in triples. And there you have another one today. 29th in stolen bases with 60. Very fast team. See there as well, double plays. They had another one today, and they are 18th in the season. See there, Purdue Pete hanging out with some young fans.
They're hitting .329 as a team today. They're hitting almost .600 as a team. If that one stands, it'll be hit number 10 for the Boilermakers in 3 innings.
As you see, it looks like home plate umpire Antonio Flores has come to a decision. And we'll see what call is going to be made by first base umpire Brandon Bloom. And they will reverse the call, and they will call it out on obstruction. And so Purdue will only come away with 1 run there, as opposed to 3. And we talked about it as a little bit of a judgment call, but it will stay as we will come back at the top of the 4 here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the broadcast. A little bit of a controversial call to change the ruling there on obstruction. As you see a replay here, bit of a tough call there, judgment call there. See Coach Frizzotti looking visibly upset at the call. Not sure as to why that was changed. We talked about it already. The initial ruling was not obstruction, and so must have seen some potential angle where it was clearly obstruction that we potentially don't have. Top of the 4th here, as Julia Gossett will deal that in for ball 1.
Now there's some question as well as to the scoreboard here at the ballpark has 1 run across for the Boilermakers. There's some question as to whether or not the Condon run on that play should score. If she had scored, a long fly ball to left field.
See their long fly out. No, that will be another home run for the Wisconsin Badgers as they're starting to climb back into this. Another home run, a solo shot for Olivia Bark. That is a big start there. The wind just kind of carried that. As you see in the replay, the flag's blowing towards left center. That ball kept going. You saw Polar and Banks both trailing after it, potentially thinking that might be a warning track ball, but kept going and going and ended up going gone.
Bart got just enough of it. The junior out of Bettendorf, Iowa, gets her first home run of the season. It's not very often you see your cleanup hitter with 0 home runs, but, well, now she's got 1.
Yeah, Bark obviously very solid batter, batting .359 coming into the game. And that will be her first hit of the contest and her second at-bat. See Danielle Lucy grounded out in the second. And that is strike 1 called. See the infield for Purdue playing in, trying to avoid any bunts or swinging hits. Gossett kicks and deals. Now will be flied out into right field. Easy play there for Maura Condon. That'll be out number 1. Huge out there. Try to lower some momentum there after a big home run.
First baseman, number 10, Jackie Showalter.
Jackie Showalter is up to bat. Grounded on a little bit of a funky play where the ball just kind of rolled back into fair territory. That ball will be fouled off. Gossett with a heads-up play her last time up. Interestingly, Wisconsin with 3 runs on only 2 hits. No errors by Purdue. All of those have been earned due to walks, but very interesting look. And also, their only 2 hits have been home runs. First, the 2-run shot from Hillary Blomberg, and then Olivia Bark just a moment ago. As that is.
So right before Bark's home run, I was going into the decision on whether Condon's run would score, since she came around to score on the interference play at the end of last inning. They've determined that she had not crossed home plate, so that run is nullified. You just saw the 8 go back to 7 on your screen. It's not your television playing tricks on you. Your eyes messing with you. It is actually an official ruling has been changed at the ballpark. So the official score is 7-3 in favor of Purdue.
Yeah, very convoluted play there. Obviously, the second run was not going to be plated, but interesting that the first one was also taken away, as that was initially marked, even with going into the break as a 2-8 ball game. Now it is 3-7. Has been a 2-run swing in the past 5 minutes. As Gossett will call time there.
You're right, Quinn. Just 2 hits, but they've been 2 doozies for the Badgers. A couple of long home runs.
As in for strike 3, and Gossett will get her second strikeout of the game, and is now 2 gone in the top of the 4th. As Mackenzie Foster will come up to bat. Left fielder has been getting a lot of traction. A lot of Purdue hits have gone her way in recent innings. Foster 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And they say she did not go around. They will appeal to third. No go. It will be 1-0 count. Gossett kicks and deals. That one will be lined. And Banks with an outstanding diving play to avoid extra bases. And we will go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Wisconsin plates another one. It is 3-7 going to the bottom of the 4th here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the broadcast. We mentioned already Mariah Poehler having a fantastic season. We see there her 2025 last season batting .444 was 3rd all time, and she's looking to shatter that. Coming into the game batting .588 and has had 3 hits already on today's game. And that is officially means that is her 15th 3-hit game of the season in just 36 games played. About 40% of them she has had 4 hits, or 3 hits, and in about half of them she has had at least 2. Hannah Moore here, 1 for 2 with an RBI triple. Flew out to left last time out.
The 2 players ahead of her on that list, Andrea Hilsey and Rachel Becker, are both All-Americans in Purdue program history. And I got to think, with an average hovering around 600, boy, I would think Mariah Poehler joins that list.
Especially with such great defensive play from Poehler as well. We saw yesterday, went 1 for 3. However, defensively, towards the end of the game, was able to stop a run from scoring, threw a runner out against Wisconsin yesterday. As right back to her, and her with a savvy backhand play to get Anna Moore out. And that'll be out number 1. Corey, we've talked about this entire game. A lot of contact from Purdue has gone right down the middle. And her ready for that one.
Yeah, what a play by her. Barrett, her showing her skills with that red leather glove. That backhand stab and the easy throw over to first. Helping her own cause.
Absolutely. And we see Haley Painter up to bat. Painter going to turn on that one, and they will call it fair. And in for a all the way around out. Great throw there from Olivia Bark, making it happen with the bat and with the glove. Great backhand.
Smart play there by Bark. Instead of attacking that ball, which would have put her in a really dangerous spot, she takes a step backwards behind the bag, gives herself a good plant, a nice base to make that tough throw across the diamond. Beautiful defensive play.
And also very savvy to not avoid the ball potentially for a foul ball. Fielding it cleanly just to make sure. And Painter unable to beat that one out. Delaney Reef 0 for 2 so far in this game. Be fouled off. Say 0-2 count here.
Oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that swing from Reef.
Happens to the best of us. There's been a couple foul tips off the butt of the bat so far today. The Maryland native looks there. Looked on that ball in the dirt for ball 1. Reef has always been a part of the Big Ten, was a freshman at Maryland, and then ended up transferring to Purdue last season. Was a core contributor last season in the surprise semifinalists in the Big Ten. As Reef is going to hit that one, lined into the glove of Crane, and a 1-2-3 inning. And Wisconsin hoping to cut away into this Boilermaker lead right here in the top of the fifth. Welcome back to the broadcast. Wisconsin versus Purdue. Purdue hoping to keep onto this lead and hoping to keep on the rankings lead as well. You see a couple teams in the Big Ten smudged up here. Purdue 40th, Wisconsin 47th. This was as of April 2nd, so right before this series. Whoever wins this series will potentially move up in the rankings. You see Michigan, who ended up winning the series against Purdue, is 35th. So all the more important for these middle-of-the-pack Big Ten teams to stake a claim and try to make a play to getting into the top 25.
Well, and when it comes time for at-large bids at the end of the season, head-to-head matters so largely for these squads. If you can say, hey, yeah, we're right there with Purdue, but we took 2 of 3 on the road, that'd be a huge feather in Wisconsin's cap. Same goes for the Boilermakers. They already dropped the series at Michigan, but if they can take 2 of 3 from Wisconsin, you know, that flips it back in their favor in a head-to-head win over the Badgers. So huge series here in the second half of the Big Ten schedule, and both of these teams trying to bolster their resumes for an NCAA tournament berth.
Absolutely, especially both teams. Whoever wins this series will be ahead in the conference standings. As Crane will look at that one for ball 1. Crane only 1 plate appearance so far. Hit by a pitch earlier on. Costa deals. That ball will be fouled off again. Will remain a 1-2 count. Crane, the first run was the lone runner aboard for Blomberg's home run in the third. Started the momentum shift as that ball will be lined into the Purdue bullpen. We'll do it all over again.
Wisconsin trying to get their 7th NCAA tournament invitation under Coach Yvette Healy. The Boilermakers trying to get their 3rd ever. They've been to the tournament twice, and it was a decade and a half ago. So that would be a huge step forward for this program and Maggie Frizzotti.
Check swing there, 2-2 count. You mentioned, obviously, we mentioned earlier, Coach Frizzotti only in here in her 3rd season. Last season, surprise Big Ten semifinalist after upsetting Northwestern and Ohio State. Hoping to continue that trajectory. Strike 3 called as Gossett gets her 3rd strikeout, her first backwards K of the contest.
Big response here from Gossett in an important spot after the Badgers have scored each of the last 2 innings. And we talked about it earlier, Quinn, that that glut of teams in the middle there, 6-4, 5-4, 5-5, 6 teams within a game of each other there, and a lot to be determined here. Everybody's chasing those top 3. They're phenomenal this season. And seeding in the Big Ten tournament is going to be paramount to success in the Big Ten tournament.
Absolutely, especially with Indiana University as well, rivals of Purdue, as that's lined into the gap. Great play by Condon with a running snag, making it look easy in the no man's land in the gap. See there, good drive there, but Condon able to make the running grab. Ball hung up in the air a little bit due to the wind. But Indiana University currently 7-3, a little bit higher than this hodgepodge of teams in the middle. However, they are playing against UCLA, already dropped yesterday's game to them. That is such a tough team to play. And so you'd think that they'd also end up in that middle of the road area. 1-0 count here. Top of the lineup back up, Emily Bojan. Bojan looking to already got on base, and has the second longest on base streak at 32. Hoping to eclipse the 40 mark. And a couple of players at the top of the lineup chasing Wisconsin history. Bojan chasing the on base streak, and Blomberg chasing the home run record. 3-0 count here for Bojan, and down and away for ball 4, and that means that Hillary Blomberg will be up to bat here, and last at bat took the ball for a drive towards center. Chloe Banks could only look up at it as it left the yard. There's a little bit of a mound visit here from Delaney Reef, essentially trying to see how it would approach Blomberg. We mentioned last time there were 2 outs last time, 1 on. And you mentioned right before the home run that Gossett would be content with being able to approach this at-bat more aggressively as opposed to pitching around Blomberg, considering there was 2 outs at the time. What would change with this approach this time out after the home run? Same situation, but with that in the back of your mind, do you change your approach?
Absolutely. I think you stay away from Blomberg here if you put 2 on with 2 outs, but you take the biggest bat out of her hands. I would 100% do that. I expect Gossett to not throw anything worth hitting in this at-bat.
Yeah, as we've seen a couple of those already. Blomberg 1 for 1 with that 2-run shot in the 3rd. Also had a walk in the 1st inning.
We mentioned Wisconsin scored in 2 consecutive innings. They've won the last 2 innings 3-1 aggregate. They are in the middle of a rally here. You give up another long ball to Blomberg. You make a mistake on the edge trying to clip a corner, and all of a sudden you're in a 2-run game.
Yeah, and it looks like Gossett content with the pseudo-intentional walk. We saw a couple of these yesterday as well. This will be Blomberg's, most likely. This will be the 4th walk of Blomberg. That'll be Blomberg's 4th walk of the series. She's now 1 for 3 with 4 walks.
The other thing we've seen Wisconsin do a lot this season, or this series so far, is take Blomberg out when she reaches first base. They cannot do that. They've already done that once this game. She comes out again, and she is done for the day. So Blomberg will run for herself, and now Frizzotti will meet with her team in the circle to make sure that, okay, we made a choice there. We've put the last 2 batters on in 8 straight pitches. Let's take care of business here and get out of this inning.
Yeah, very critical at-bat here against Kendra Lewis, who had 2 of the RBIs yesterday, had a rope of a single to the outfield yesterday that plated 2 in that 2nd inning that ended up being insurmountable. And you see the star for yesterday's game, Brooke Perez, had 5 scoreless innings in relief, is in the bullpen right now. So it looks like they will stick with Gossett. He's only allowed 2 hits, but those 2 hits have both been long balls, and whether or not the wind has played a factor in those 2 is neither here nor there at this point.
Yeah, one thing about it, it's still blowing.
Yeah, it will always be a factor in these games. I commentated a game a while ago for Northern Illinois. There were a couple balls that for Purdue that went opposite field from Anna Moore and Mariah Poehler, and both left the yard despite not looking like they should have. Ended up doing so.
Gossett quickly gets ahead after that foul ball.
Exactly what we want to see after throwing 6 straight balls and 2 straight walks. Kendra Lewis 0 for 2 right now with a ground out, including the double play in the 3rd. As Reef will try to get her and just misses. Savvy throw there from Reef trying to get Bojan and just misses. The tag is Moore. Bojan able to get in just in time. Excellent throw there from Reef. As we mentioned, quite offensive showing, but such a stout defensive presence back there. The ball will be fouled off.
Yeah, great throw by Reef. It also gives Bojan one more thing to think about if she's trying to be aggressive with her secondary lead on, or her takeoff on second base.
Yeah, we saw yesterday Mariah Poehler gun down a Wisconsin runner on a single to her. And so definitely in the back of the minds of Wisconsin as well. A single straight to Poehler, Banks, or Condon might not score them. So most likely why Bojan was trying to take a longer secondary. Reef trying to keep her honest. A little bit of a chess match here between Purdue's defense and Wisconsin base running. That ball will miss. It is now a 3-2 count as Lewis able to battle back after an 0-2 count. And the count is now full with 2 on and 2 outs. Tying run, Olivia Bark on the on-deck circle. Gossett kicks and deals. Now be lined, and Poehler gets a grasp on it, and will try to gun her down. No dice. And Wisconsin going to plate another. The 3rd hit of the ball game necessitates the 4th run. And we'll do the same situation over again. Olivia Bark, take you back to her last at-bat. Was a solo shot to left center. And Wisconsin may be hoping for that to happen again. Bark necessitates the tying run. Thus we'll get a pinch runner. Emma King also pinch ran yesterday.
Yeah, Bark represents the tying run now at home plate. So just like that, things have turned a little bit here. 3rd straight inning now, the Badgers have plated a run. A great piece of hitting there by Kendra Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if that ball goes straight to Poehler on the ground. There's definitely a closer play at the plate. Might be bases loaded as opposed to being 4-7 or potentially only 3-7 going into the bottom of the 5th had Bojan not beat it out. Bark looking at that one. That is strike 1 called. Gossett gets ahead 0-1, hoping to get out of this inning with only 1 run scored, especially with such a dangerous top of this lineup.
Gossett got caught up a little bit against Lewis. She got up 0-2 and then threw 3 stray balls trying to get Lewis to chase, which meant she had to throw a hittable pitch on a full count. Now she's 1-1 against Bark.
Gossett trying to get back ahead here. And the ball will be hit to center. Nowhere near as good. And Banks harmlessly into the glove. Wisconsin plates 1, but Gossett able to get out of it with no further. As Purdue is still up 3 going into the 5th inning stretch here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the broadcast. Purdue having some star-studded top of the lineup here. Take a look here. Mariah Poehler ranked the 7th best outfielder in the NCAA. Anna Moore is the 8th ranked second baseman, highest ranked freshman second baseman. Poehler, as we've mentioned already, 2nd in batting average. And with this game is now back to 1st in hits. Coming into the series, they had 35% of the team's hits and a third of their RBIs. So this team really, while it is the sum of their parts, really run through number 2 and 3 in the batting lineup. Take a look here. Kylie Franks has had a very productive series. 1 for 1 with a hit by pitch today and some good defensive glove work. And she turns on that one. Almost hit one of our Big Ten Plus camera crew. That ball was on a line towards the end of the Purdue dugout.
Yeah, I got Kevin down there, didn't flinch. He was good for it.
He had the shot ready. Her deals low and inside for ball 1. It is now a 1-2 count here for the junior middle infielder that has really found a spot at third base this season. Frank's going to line that one into the Wisconsin dugout.
And that one goes over by our other camera operator, Benjamin. They are under attack down there, under siege here on a Saturday afternoon. I guess it's evening now in West Lafayette. Supposed to be afternoon. This game just kept getting pushed later and later because of the weather.
Absolutely. 6:42 local time right now. And that is close, but will be called a ball. 2-2 count. Good eye there from Franks. Clouds have not let up today. I don't think I've seen the sun today. Woke up around 9:30. It was raining. Franks is going to hit that one towards us and hit the safety netting.
Woke up at 9:30.
Hey.
Goodness gracious.
Hey, I got the notification that I didn't need to show up until a 4 p.m. game.
Frank's 1 for 1 on the day with a couple runs scored.
Will be in for a foul ball. It's a 2-2 count. Frank's looking to rally here on the 8th pitch of the at-bat. There's a couple of these longer at-bats in the bottom of the lineup. Franks will look on that one. Just misses again. Another great eye there from Franks. Another good pitch by her. Is the 9th pitch of the at-bat, and the count is now full for the first batter of the bottom of the 5th.
Kendra Lewis getting loose for the Badgers in the bullpen. She started the game in right field, was pulled earlier last inning for a pinch runner.
Nice play by her, and Frank's unable to beat it out. It'll be out number 1.
Yeah, nice job by her staying with it. A bit of a bobble there on that field, and Frank's bustling down the line. Good play there by the relief pitcher for Wisconsin.
Yeah, you mentioned Emma King now in right field for the time being. Most likely with Kendra Lewis trying to get loose potentially to come in at the end of this game.
She has several pitching appearances this season for the Badgers.
Her, Felci, and Lewis were the three pitchers in their win against Maryland on the 28th of March. Lewis came in for 1 inning of relief after hers 5 innings pitched. Felci started that game as a sort of opener, going 1 inning. And that will hit Bella Douglas, and Bella Douglas gets on base for the first time today. Good way to get out of a slump. Take what the pitching gives you. That will hit the back elbow. Third time that's happened so far today. As there is now 1 on and 1 out for Maura Condon, who has, other than Frank's, maybe been the MVP of this series for the Boilermakers. Batting 2 for 3 right now with 3 singles. 3 for 4 so far this series with 3 singles. 2 for 2 today. And she will look on that one. That will be ball 2.
Yeah, it seems like Barrett Herr knows that Condon's swinging a hot bat right now, staying safe with a couple pitches up and out of the zone.
Her deals. And Condon will look at strike 1 called. Condon really taking advantage of the opportunity Coach Rizzotti is giving her. Off to a slower start at the beginning of the season, but has really turned it around this series. As Condon drives that one foul towards the concourse area. Condon already made some solid plays in right field as well. A magnificent running catch. One of many defensive highlights from this Purdue team today. And she will swing on and miss. And that will be a strikeout for Barrett Herr. That'll be her first of the ball game.
Great off-speed pitch low in the zone there. Condon thought about swinging, then hesitated, then wanted to, and then it just fantastic pitch by her.
Having an off speed is always so tough for a batter. So you stuck between 2 different speeds. Infield in now for Ashlyn Campbell. Dangerous speed at the bottom of the lineup. 1 for 1 today with a single and a walk. Came into the game batting .353. And she will lay off on the bunt. And it will be ball 1. It'll be a 1-1 count here for Campbell. Her kicks and deals. And Campbell going to hit it back to her. And her going to do it herself again. Her second put out of the inning. And Purdue will go 4 batters, no runs. We will go back to the top of the 6th right here on Big Ten Plus. Big Ten softball fans, there's an Instagram account dedicated to you. Follow at Big1G Softball for the best Big Ten highlights, videos, and images from the diamond straight to your feed. Join the community now on Instagram, powered by Big Ten Network. We're back here in the top of the 6th inning. Wisconsin trying to claw their way back after a 6-0 deficit. It's now 4-7. Wisconsin hoping to roll it back. They only have 2 innings left to tie it up. They're hoping that this could be the start of something right here. Danielle Lucy up to bat. 0 for 2 so far on the contest. Gossett deals. Check swing. They say she will not go around. It'll be a 2-0 count. Gossett getting close to the century mark pitching at 93 right now. And that is strike 1 there. It's a 2-1 count.
Yeah, Gossett's no stranger to high pitch counts, as we've talked about. Not a surprise here in the 6th that she's closing in on 100.
And just misses there. Looks to be a little inside, but a little bit of a tough draw there from Gossett. So instead of a 2-2 count, it is a 3-1 count. And that one will just miss as well. It'll be another walk, as Lucy will get a free pass.
First baseman, number 10, Jackie Showalter.
And Jackie Showalter is now up to bat. As now the 6, 7, and 8 hitter are now up to bat.
5 walks against just 3 strikeouts for Gossett. Those numbers are out of whack. It tells you how much Wisconsin's offense makes you earn it in the circle.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of Gossett. Tends to have relatively lower walk rate, averaging a little less than half the walks than she does strikeouts. It's been a tough draw for her today. But still, only 3 hits allowed. 2 of them were the long ball. All 3 of them have been RBI hits. See there, 4 earned runs. Currently about almost a 50-50 split on balls and strikes. He's really been trying to work around these Wisconsin bats, which most likely is necessitating the higher walk rate. It's been her more working around and not giving these Wisconsin batters a lot to hit. As Delaney Reeve will come out for a mound visit. Gossett up to pitch 99. Currently at 49 balls and 50 strikes. Kicks and deals. I'll be outside of the stadium for a foul ball. There's now a 2-2 count. As Gossett eclipses the century mark. No stranger to high pitch counts.
Wisconsin has done a nice job of taking advantage today. They've just left 3 runners stranded this evening. Yesterday they put 11 on and stranded, stranded 11. They scored 3. Today they've scored 4, but only left 3 on. That's some pretty efficient offense, taking timely hits when they can.
And that is another walk there for Gossett. Purdue also been quite efficient as well. 7 runs and only 5 left on base. That includes 2 of them that got lost as a run or as runs from the obstruction call. Overall, been a very efficient team so far. As we see some more action in the bullpen. Looks like Brianna Fontenot is also warming up. The starter from last game only went 2 innings of work. As is Brooke Perez, both pitchers from yesterday's outing. Though it seems like neither of them are getting the call at the moment. So it seems like Gossett will be in here for a little bit longer.
I'd be really surprised if Rizzotti lets this go too much further in the hands of Julia Gossett. 2 on, no out here in the top of the 6th, and you're the bottom third of the Wisconsin lineup. You have to take advantage right now of Foster, Crane, and Conger because Bojan and Blomberg are waiting ahead. Kendra Lewis, Olivia Barks got a home run today. There's danger on this path if Gossett cannot get an out, or we saw this team is among the national leaders in double plays. This would be a great time for one of those for the old gold and black.
Already one as well. Ava Parent is pinch running now at first. As a bunt there, bunt foul. We haven't seen a lot of successful bunts today. Last time in this situation, Wisconsin tried to bunt with 2 on and no outs. It was lined right back to Gossett, and she was able to turn 2 for the double play. Purdue hoping for much of the same here to try and get out of the jam. As Foster will lay off there for ball 1. As now a 1-1 count.
Foster 0 for 2 on the day, but she's a 300 hitter coming in to today.
Definitely no easy outs here. You see Franks and the shift very high up. As that is bunted, and Franks will pick it up. Sack bunt there from Mackenzie Foster. As Wisconsin will now have 2 runners in scoring position.
I like this from Franks. She is dead set on taking that play and going to first. There was no doubt in her mind. Any questioning on that play, any hesitation, and you might not get that out at first, but Franks knew exactly what she needed to do, charged that ball, got it from Gossett, and fires across for the sure thing. Both runners advance, so that was a job well done by Mackenzie Foster on the sack bunt.
Absolutely. Addison Weary, the pinch hitter. One of the 2 Addisons on this team, coincidentally wear consequential numbers. Number 12 for Addison Weary and number 13 for Hillary Blomberg's sister, Addison Blomberg. Weary batting 4 of 19 so far with a .211 average. Has 5 RBIs, though, hoping to make that 7 and bring it within a 1-run ball game with just 1 swing of the bat. Also has currently 2 of her 4 hits of the season. One was a triple, and the other one was a home run. So, has some power in this high-impact situation. And that ball will be hit to Franks. Now we'll score a run, but fortunately, Parent not able to advance to second or to third. And so only 1 run will be plated there. It is now 2 gone for Hannah Conger at the bottom of this lineup.
There again, great communication with the infield. The play was at first. That's where you get the short out. That's where you get out number 2. Boilermakers catch a break, not allowing that runner to advance to third, but concede the run.
Gossett hoping to keep this a 2-run ball game, going back to the top of the lineup in the bottom of the 6th. Hannah Conger 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts, including one last inning to Maura Condon. As she will bunt there, Gossett flips the glove, dropped, and they will advance, and Parent will score from second. And timely errors from Purdue strike again was the main story coming out of the Michigan games. As we see there, Gossett makes a decent play on the ball, tries to flip it, and Painter unable to hold on. And that will be run number 6 for Wisconsin, the second of the inning. They have now plated in their last 4 innings. It has been 6-1 since the second inning. As Gossett tries to get out of this inning with the lead, Painter in foul territory will snag the ball. Gossett gets out of the inning, but not before Wisconsin continuing to creep up, only down by 1, going here into the bottom of the 6th inning on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the broadcast. Wisconsin clawing back, only down by 1. Let's take a look here at Purdue's upcoming schedule. They have Wisconsin again tomorrow, as well as Illinois, Chicago on Wednesday, and then a series at Indiana. The first 2 games will be on Big Ten Plus, with the last game being on Big Ten Network, and then finally an away series the week after at Rutgers, right here on Big Ten Plus.
Every series looms very large for this Purdue team as they continue to try and put a resume together for the postseason.
Including those out-of-conference games. Illinois, Chicago always seems to be on the schedule for Purdue in any sport. Definitely an important game there, as I will also be commentating that one. I'll be in for ball 1 for Chloe Banks. Top of the lineup here for Purdue in the bottom half of inning number 6, hoping to add a little more insurance runs going into the top of the 7th to avoid extras. And they will appeal to third, and Banks will not go. It'll be a 2-1 count. Her deals, and that will be up for ball 3. Is now a 3-1 count. Wisconsin 6 runs on only 3 hits. Very rare thing to see as Banks gets on base again. She will get on base for Mariah Poehler. Poehler 3 for 3. As we mentioned already, is her 15th straight game with a hit, 22nd game of the season with multiple hits, and her 15th with 3. As Poehler lines that in the gap over the head of Bark, who was playing on the bunt. And an easy hit there. That is hit number 4 for Poehler. Good piece of hitting there, opposite field, right over the shifting Olivia Bark. And it is now 2 on with no outs.
There's just nothing Mariah Poehler can't do with a bat in her hands. Waits on that one, goes opposite field for her 4th base hit of the day. That's going to get that average back above 600, I would think.
Absolutely. Definitely trying to get there again. As you see such speed on the base paths right here, any ball in the gap will most likely plate 2. See there, stolen base leaders. 2 runners on the pond right now. Mariah Poehler first with 20, and Chloe Banks tied for 4th with 12. Ball will be outside for ball one. 1-1 count here for the freshman, Anna Moore.
Moore with a triple back in the first. Her only hit of the day thus far.
As Moore will foul tip that one. Mentioned the success of Mariah Poehler hitting the ball. This is her third game with 4 hits on the season. Last time out being against Indiana State back on March 11th. First time before that was the first game against California Baptist on February 6th. It's been about a month since she's had 4 hits in a game, but no surprise there from her. As Moore's going to drive that one and caught in foul ground, but Banks and Poehler will tag up. And so a little bit of an unconventional sac fly there going to left field. But Banks and Poehler now both in scoring position for Haley Painter. Already with a sac fly, and they will call an out. They're saying one of them didn't tag.
Yeah, they're going to say Banks left early, and first base umpire Brandon Bloom.
Call Poehler safe. Looks like they will have a conversation here.
He was pretty emphatic with the call. It seems like he made it with conviction, and they will now take a look.
As we will get a second challenge of the game. First one was the obstruction call back in the 3rd inning. That has really played a factor in this game. Those 2 runs that were not plated have now potentially made the difference, and another one here would be another costly error from Purdue.
Yeah, so, boy, you look at that. If it's 9-2 in the bottom of the 3rd, the Boilermakers are 1 run, and the inning's still going. The Boilermakers are 1 run away from a potential run rule. Instead, it's been all Wisconsin since. If we take another look, that's not even close. She is very clearly on the bag and takes off well after the catch is made. I am shocked that first base umpire Brandon Blum was so emphatic with his out call. He was just begging for, it seemed like, Wisconsin to make the tag at second, waiting to make that call. From my very amateur eyes here, it looks like this call should be overturned, Quinn.
Yeah, I agree. And taking a look at the more blown up proportions on the DV Sport Monitor, looks to be in agreement with you. Looks like Banks is still very clearly on the bag. And we talked about how the obstruction call was such a swing, but this one can be just as impactful.
Yeah, this one, if it's overturned, gets Purdue runners on 2nd and 3rd.
With only 1 out instead of 2.
Right.
We'll see what the call is from Brandon Bloom. And that call will be reversed. And Purdue will still have 2 ducks on the pond with only 1 out. As a cleanup hitter, Haley Painter will be up to bat. Ari has a sac fly RBI today.
And now Yvette Healy wants further explanation, which head coaches are certainly always going to ask for when a call is overturned away from them. We saw that from Frizzotti earlier, and now Healy as well. So Healy not quite as angry going away as Frizzotti was earlier.
Yeah, certainly Coach Frizzotti felt a little robbed by that obstruction call. A little bit of a controversial call there. With the replay, it seemed to be pretty little in doubt. Looks like the Wisconsin infield is playing in here to avoid any ground balls that might score Banks, potentially trying to tag her out at home.
And they will intentionally walk
Haley Painter
here.
trying to try their luck with Delaney Reef, who has struggled recently. He's 0 for 3 so far on the day.
Interesting conversation there between Blomberg and Flores behind home plate. Just how far outside can I go on this intentional walk? It's a very uncommon thing in softball to have an explicitly intentional walk.
Yeah, obviously we've talked about already with Blomberg being sort of intentionally walked. It looked intentional from our vantage point. Every ball was outside, maybe clipping the outside corner once or twice, but that one especially intentional. And now Delaney Reef with a very high pressure situation here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Every run counts here. As Reef will look there, and that will be up for ball 1. See there, Reef 0 for 3. Strikeout in the first, grounded out to third in the third, and in the fourth, popped up to the second baseman. As Reef will look on there outside for ball 2. Big spot here for the Frederick, Maryland defensive specialist in the backstop. And she will look on there. It will be 2-1 count here for Reef.
Nice patience at the plate there by Reef, not chasing.
As her deals the 2-1 count. And another strike there is now a 2-2 count. Count is even. Her just a freshman, but showing no nerves here. As Reef lines that in left center, and that will plate 1, and the bases will remain loaded as Purdue gets another run, their first since the 3rd inning, and it is now 6-8.
That ball hangs up just a little bit, and it looked for a second like Conger might have a play at short. That was enough to keep Polar from being able to score, but Banks does what she needs to do. Comes in from third and gives the Boilermakers a little bit of insurance. Bases remain full of Boilermakers.
Yeah, and Kylie Franks hoping to make that more. Frank's not known as a power bat, but with the infield playing a little farther in, might be a little easier for her to get one over the corner infielders here. As she will look on for ball 1. It is a 1-1 count here. Bases loaded with 1 out here.
Franks has reached twice today. A single back in the 3rd.
Will be down again for ball 2. Franks has had very solid series with the glove and with the bat. Moving up in the lineup today, typically bats 8th, but has bat quite well, so is now in the 6th spot. As Franks going to hit that to short, and only 1 out there as Polar will be plated. So another RBI there. It is now 6-9 with runners on first and second.
Really smart play by Conger here. She's thinking about going home, then realizes it's Mariah Polar going home. I'm not going to beat her. Takes the easy out, the quick out at third. Get the force secondary lead runner. Now runners just at first and second with 2 away. That was a smart and very good play by Hannah Conger.
Speaking of runners on first and second, Ainsley Armstrong, the designated pinch runner, who pinch ran yesterday, is now pinch running at second right now. Hoping to stem the tides here. Pinch running for Delaney Reef.
Now batting for Purdue, number 12, Bella Douglas.
Bella Douglas back up to bat. Last inning, had a hit by pitch, but the only runner to get aboard last inning. So hoping to build up some more of these runs. A 3-run cushion made Wisconsin's scary 6th inning really nulled it out. Still a 3-run ball game. But Douglas hoping to add a little more. Armstrong on second. Franks on first. And Douglas going to dribble that one, and they will consider it fair. And that will be an unassisted ground out to the first baseman. Purdue scores 2 to make it 3 runs, a 3-1 win lead going into the 7th inning. Wisconsin and Purdue both plate 2 as it is still a 3-run ball game going to the top of the 7th. Let's take a look here at Wisconsin's upcoming schedule. The final game, potentially the rubber match on Sunday tomorrow. Wednesday, they have a matinee matchup versus Loyola Chicago, and then a series versus number 5 with Nebraska back home in Wisconsin. And the first game of that being on Big Ten Network. And then we'll have a doubleheader against St. Thomas April 15th. And you can see all of that right here on Big Ten Plus. Brooke Perez coming in to close. Came in marvelously last game out yesterday. Had 5 innings in relief, no earned runs. After a tough second inning from starter Brianna Fontenot. Was able to keep the Boilermakers in it despite the bats never really coming alive for her. Hillary Blomberg up. And she will line that one to center. And Banks with another great play. Able to flash the leather again in center. And one of the scariest hitters in the Big Ten is down. And re-entering is Kendra Lewis. After being in the bullpen for a little bit, Emma King came in as a pinch runner and then eventually replaced her in the fielding duties. But any hit is needed for Wisconsin, and that is a major blow not being able to get Blomberg on base. The dangerous Purdue defense in the outfield is paying dividends here today as Brooke Perez trying to close this game out. I'll be in for strike 1. It's a 2-1 count.
Yeah, this is the 11th relief appearance for Perez on the season. She does have a save to her credit already here in 2026.
And we'll go right up the middle. Campbell able to stop it, but unable to get a grasp on it. Tough play there.
Interested to see if they rule this a hit or an error.
Yeah.
Field that cleanly, and it's probably a put out at first. So I would think that's an error on Ashlyn Campbell. We'll see what the official score of it is. They will do an infield single, so a hit there, not an error on the Boilermaker shortstop.
And Lewis was definitely on her horse there, so definitely intent on breaking through there. See Olivia Bark here already with a solo shot. Can't tie the game, but can at the very least drop the lead to 1 with another home run. And the ball will be up and outside for ball 1. Perez deals, and Franks with a great backhand, but unable to get the out. But
Yeah,
able to
that's
stop
an
that ball.
impossible throw for Kylie Franks. She did all she could to get it across the diamond, and a smart play by Haley Painter there. Instead of trying to stay on first base and squeeze an out that's not going to happen, she gets defensive, blocks the ball, keeps it from becoming a throw-in error, and then potentially amplifying the problem. So runners stay at first and second now with 1 away.
Absolutely. See Franks playing very up, and that will hit the tying run. Lucy is now bases loaded. And Perez started with a line out to Chloe Banks, but since then has been 2 singles and a hit by pitch. And now it looks like a full mound meeting. Try and calm down the closer.
Yeah, the bottom just dropped out of that pitch, that inside pitch, and lands right on Lucy's foot. Big spot here now for Jackie Showalter. Bases full of Badgers. 1 away, and you see Maggie Frizzotti as she's walking away, looks to the outfield and gives them a little bit of a boiler up, trying to get some energy to her team, let them know that we're still in this thing. Yvette Healy, meanwhile, she's pumped up as well. Both coaches are riding the emotional wave here in the top of the 7th.
These are the kind of games you want to see as a fan. Maybe not as a coach. Very nerve-wracking moments here. The potential leading run here. And that ball is lined deep to center. Grand slam! And Wisconsin has battled all the way back. It is now a 10-9 ball game. Wisconsin is now leading. And Jackie Showalter continues her hot streak this series.
Home run number 7 on the year for Showalter. RBIs, well, she goes to 14 on the year, and this one nearly clears the berm out there beyond center field. Nothing at all Banks could do about that. Perez served that one up, and Showalter made her pay. Grand slam 4 spot for the Badgers here on the top of the 7th. They lead 10-9, still just 1 away.
Yeah, and you mentioned already the efficiency of this Wisconsin Badgers offense. They now have 10 runs. You mentioned already back when they had 6 runs, they had 3 left on base. They're only at 4 now. Extremely efficient. Purdue, on the other hand, 9 runs plated, 7 left on base. Purdue definitely has a couple times that they want back. Perez have to have a little bit of short-term memory here. Get the runner out in front of you. As opposed to worrying about what just happened with Jackie Showalter. Mackenzie Foster up to bat. 0 for 2 so far with a strikeout. Happened all the way back in the 2nd. Did have a sac bunt last inning, which aided in the 2 runs scored in the 6th.
What a fantastic comeback by the Badgers. This is now the 5th straight inning in which they have scored.
Check swing there. Goes right to Franks. Franks gets the quick out there.
2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and now 4 to take the lead here in the top of the 7th.
Battling all the way back, have outscored Purdue 10-3 in the last 5 innings. They hope it stays that way, but Purdue did plate 2 runs last inning. And that ball is popped up in the air. And Anna Moore calling everyone off. She will get the snag. Perez gets out of the inning, but not before allowing a massive grand slam. And Wisconsin takes the lead into the bottom of the 7th. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the broadcast. Wisconsin battles all the way back from down 0-6 in the second. As we take a look here at around the conference, Maryland and Penn State had a doubleheader. The end of that game, the second game, 0-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. Walk-off home run for Penn State. Around the conference, elsewhere, Ohio State 9-5, Iowa versus Oregon later, as well as IU and UCLA. Is now an 0-1 count here as we are back in West Lafayette here at Bittinger Stadium. Maura Condon, 2 for 3 so far, as it's Purdue behind for the first time today, hoping to change that quickly and come back with a walk-off victory.
Condon 2 for 3 on the day with a pair of singles. She's also scored a run back in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th. Not enough has been said by the two of us, Quinn, about Barrett Hurt in relief for the Badgers. Purdue touched her up a little bit in the bottom of the 6th, but she has been very solid in relief for Wisconsin since coming on.
Absolutely. Only 4 hits allowed in 3 1/3 innings of work. Done an admirable job as Condon gets her 3rd single of the game right back down the middle. And that is exactly what you want to see as a Boilermaker fan, as the tying run is now on first base.
On the screws, right back up the middle, lands on the P out there in center field. And now it's Campbell, Banks, and Polar due up for the Boilers. We'll see. It looks like we might get a pinch runner for Purdue as well.
No better staff here, or no better lineup here for your 1, 2, 3. Potentially, maybe. Obviously, Campbell gets on quite often, as you'll see the freshman former track star Kendall Rainey is a high school all-conference honoree, as well as a high school track star who qualified for the state track and field championship. Had a couple starts earlier this season as well, but has now felt into the role of a designated fielder occasionally, as well as being a pinch runner. Has 4 stolen bases on the year on 5 attempts. See Ashlyn Campbell 1 for 2 with a walk. See the infield playing in as she will foul that bunt off. Foul tipped it into the dirt.
You mentioned Campbell 1 for 2. That one put out back in the 5th was essentially a sacrifice as she grounded out back to the pitcher, but it moved runners across. Snap down throw to Rainey, and they get her straying too far. What a play by Blomberg. Throws behind the batter, snap down to first, and Rainey strayed too far. Take another look there. Beautiful play, brilliant play by Blomberg.
And that is a tough out for Purdue. Looks like they might challenge it. But good play there by Kaylee Whitten, who came in for Riley Crane. So it looks like they will challenge it. Whitten came in defensively and just showed why there. Crashed towards the infield. As we take a look, we're looking at
Rainey very frustrated with herself as you saw her laying on the ground pounding the first base bag. We'll try and get a look at this, another look at this from our replay here.
tough to see.
The throw is there. The tag doesn't look like it's applied. Oh, she might have got in under the tag. We'll see what the
Very
official
close.
DV Sport replay has. It's tough when you go frame by frame. So a big moment here. Brilliant play by Blomberg, whether this call stands or not. To do that, to make that decision in that moment was a fantastic choice by one of the best catchers in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. We've seen a couple of these near misses from these catchers. Reeve and Blomberg, perhaps two of the best defensive catchers.
We take another look here. You can see the ball's in the glove. Cannot tell there if the tag is applied. There it definitely is. Does Rainey's hand get in underneath? I'm not certain. That is what they're taking a look at.
I think the toughest part as well is there having to be conclusive video evidence to overturn the call. Obviously, the two of us are looking at it and could be up in the air either way. However, with the call being safe, or the call being out on the field, obviously we've seen two challenges today on two relatively 50-50 calls, and both of them were overturned. So you never know, but it looks like there might not be too much conclusive evidence, though potentially Rainey did get in. But it is so tough to see where that glove of Whitten is when the ball first gets there. Play ended up being a lot closer than I thought it did. In real time, it looked.
I agree.
It looked like she was just caught like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, dead to rights. Such a great play, and Rainey tried to get back. If the call stands, there's no one on and one out.
Absolutely, and definitely completely different ball game by comparison. But excellent play by Blomberg, also feigning it as well. Didn't really look like she was throwing out, as we will get the decision here from the umpires. First base umpire, Brandon Bloom, will have the call.
It looks like the Wisconsin team may have just overheard what the call is going to be because they started celebrating.
And they stand it. Call was not confirmed. However, it did stand. Seems like lack of video proof either way. Allows the run to stay.
So one away now for the Boilermakers. Instead of having the tying run on first.
Tying run is now in the batter's box. See some action in the bullpen. As Campbell takes ball 2. The hope right here for Campbell is to get on base and allow the top of the lineup to come up. As it stands right now, Polar is not guaranteed an at-bat, as Campbell going to drive that one foul on the third base line. Her with 71 pitches and barring the 6th inning has kept this Boilermaker lineup, who has already been hitting well before her coming in relief, held them in check. As Campbell lays off on that one. Is a 3-2 count here. Full count here for Ashlyn Campbell.
Tough one to lay off there on a 2-2 count.
Especially while running for a slap shot as well. Payoff pitch here. Campbell going to hit it. And another out there. And that will be out number 2. Kaylee Whitten, her second putout of this inning. The defensive substitution has come in majorly clutch.
She did a nice job of staying back on that ball, not getting too aggressive, charging it.
And now the hope here rests on the top of the lineup. Chloe Banks, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a walk here today. Has gotten on base in her past 3 plate appearances after a flyout in the first off of a bunt. And Banks going to lay off that one as well. Outside for ball 2. Obviously, you never know with this Purdue team the speed of the Orange Park, Florida native, and Mariah Poehler in the back. You never know what might happen with this team. It is a 2-1 count here. Her deals. And Banks is going to line that one foul towards the Boilermaker clubhouse. And it is now a 2-2 count. Her 1 pitch away from cementing a massive win. 4 innings pitched so far for Barrett Herr. As she deals, and I'll be low and outside in the dirt for ball 3. It is a 3-2 count for Chloe Banks.
Yeah, smart, wasting one. Would have been better to not bounce in front of the plate, but trying to get Banks to chase.
Her deals. And Banks going to line that one foul again towards the Boilermaker batting cage. And will land in the bullpen. Barrett Herr kicks and deals on the 3-2. And Banks going to sky it in the air, no man's land. And Mackenzie Foster is going to make the play. And Wisconsin battles back all the way to win 10-9 with only half as many hits as they had runs, as they took advantage of every opportunity that Purdue gifted them in this game. 3 long balls, including a massive grand slam from Jackie Showalter in the top of the 7th to propel Wisconsin to the victory and the series win against Purdue.
What a great bit of resolve by this Badger squad. Like you said, 3 long balls, a great relief appearance to get the win by Barrett Herr. Everything was good for this Badger club, and now they'll go for the sweep tomorrow.
Absolutely. As we take a look here at our big box score recap, Hillary Blomberg with a 2-run shot early on. Jackie Showalter went 1 for 3, but that one hit, perhaps the biggest of them all. Mariah Poehler, 4 for 4, was unable to get there as Chloe Banks went down at the end. Chloe Banks went 2 for 4 as well. Take a look here at the replay package. Started with some bad weather, but the fans ended up showing up, and Purdue, it was all Purdue to start the game. Started 6-0 in the first 2 innings, but Wisconsin able to battle back with a pair of home runs early and a grand slam to put this game away. And that'll do it for our broadcast here today. The final score, Purdue 9, Wisconsin 10. For my partner Corey Palm and all our Big Ten Plus camera and production crew, I'm Quinn Lennon saying so long and have a great rest of your days.